over in Virginia for the next IT corridor, over in Loudoun County area. I mean, look, we're here. Why aren't we a part of that battle? And so we've got to be able to get to a point where we become players, where we become the arena that is being sought, and we do that by again, building that proper team and making ourselves marketable, to the outside resources that are there.
What about your relationship or your background with the people in Annapolis? Have you had, I know you've had contact certainly as a sheriff, but prior to that, do you have any contact with Annapolis or with the governor's office where you could go to them and ask them for support or help? Absolutely.
I have enjoyed since 1996. Sometimes you enjoy it, sometimes you don't. I've been walking the halls of Annapolis since 1996. First as a member of the Fraternal Order of Police legislative team in Annapolis for the Deputy Sheriff's Association and the State Fraternal Order of Police. And then shortly thereafter, in 1997, I became the president for the Deputy Sheriff's Association, which is a Fraternal Order of Police Lodge, number 112. And so I also spent time there, as well as at the same time remaining on the legislative team for the Maryland Sheriffs. And since being sheriff, I am a member of the, obviously, I go to Annapolis on behalf of the Sheriff's Office. Our authority comes from the state of Maryland. But I'm also the chair. I'm getting ready to go into my 4th year as the chair for the Maryland Sheriff's Association. So we've got a pretty expansive experience in Annapolis. We've got a pretty good track record. I had the ability, after so many years, working on different pieces of legislation, not only dealing directly with a law enforcement function, but dealing with anything from workers' compensation to pensions. And I've had the ability to deal with the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, obviously Judiciary and Judicial Proceedings Committees, and working with the Governor's office, as we have the last couple of years with the domestic violence bills, working very closely with Governor O'Malley and Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown. So we have a great relationship, and it's pretty much all about relationships, being able to bring those issues forward, but also more importantly, I think, being willing to work with them on issues that make sense, and issues that make sense to not only Prince George's County, but the state of Maryland as a whole, and showing that you're willing to work in partnership. And I think that kind of helps you out.
Oh, you bet. You bet.
Have you given any thought to how the next county executive is going to have to work with the 9 members of the county council in terms of shaping priorities and working together to get a majority process going down to the county council? Is one of the criticisms that you hear of the county council process is that a lot of people consider them 9 separate little fiefdoms. So obviously, the next county executive is going to have somewhere between 5, 6, 7 new members of the county council to work with. You given any thought to how you might, from day one, organize some of them, even though they have a different role to play than does the executive? If the county executive can get a majority of the council working on the same page, you have a whole lot better chance of meeting those goals. Have you given any thought as to how you're going to do that?
Absolutely. I think yes, sir. Absolutely. I think the first priority is to make sure that I stay in the proper mindset that the legislative agenda has to be our legislative agenda, not necessarily the county executive's legislative agenda. And I think we've got to create a buy-in. Everybody's got it. We have to validate every position, whether it's a legislator in Annapolis, a delegate or a senator or a council member. Or the county executive. Everybody's got to be validated. You got to make sure that we understand their role and their importance that they bring to the table. They actually serve as, in many regards, the eyes and ears for the county executive, if you think about it. I mean, he or she can't be everywhere. The nine-member council, they're in touch with their community, as the legislators are in touch with their community. And the more we work in conjunction with one another, we can actually find out what the citizens want. And kind of move ahead on that, but it's very important that you offer leadership. Consensus building is very important. Got to be willing to go down to the second floor, you know, and either get off the elevator, get off the stairwell, you know, and also one thing I believe in is, you know, I believe in relationships. I think it's very important that we not only deal with one another when there's legislation before you. I think it's very important that we deal with each other on just about everything. You know, we develop a relationship because the tough issues can be worked out amongst people who have a relationship. Mm-hmm. Tough issues really aren't going to be worked out by those who don't have a relationship. The line is already drawn. So it's incumbent upon us to start with a relationship and understanding that it's all about legislation.
Well, along those lines, let me get parochial for a minute. You know, obviously, my client is the city. And the city and the county more often than not, actually work together, because I think we both understand that as Bowie progresses, the county progresses, and as the county progresses, so too does Bowie. But there have been occasions when the city has an interest that sometimes is competitive to the county council, say. Particularly this is in areas where the city has, for years, tried to get the county council to review or alter the relationships, you know, in terms of land use decisions and stuff like that, so that the city could get more decision-making authority on, you know, when a proposal, or to validate that a proposal is consistent with the zoning ordinance and that the staging of that development is compatible with the county's ability to provide the adequate public facilities, you know, roads and cops and teachers and schools and all that. Have you given any thought to how a county executive, Jackson, might look at the city's interest there, even if it's contrary to what the county council has traditionally opposed?
Well, I think it goes back to what's best for Prince George's County. You know, oftentimes, you know, we're going to be on the opposite ends of things at the beginning, initially. But it goes back to the willingness to develop a relationship, to sit down and try to work things out. And it's ultimately, you know, what's best for the county. And if that means the influence that is not making headway, you know, where it needs to make headway, and there's some, you know, influence needs to be exacted because of a relationship that the county executive may have with the council or whomever, then I think it's very important that we move forward on that. I think for continuity's sake, I think you know, we need to set that trend early on, and I think, you know, but that again comes from, you know, us knowing what the city of Bowie needs or wishes, and what the county council needs, and the other municipalities that are in the county. We're very fortunate to have as many municipalities as we have in the county, because, you know, that's where, you know, the citizens are. And that's where those who have those parochial needs and interests. But as you said, as those parochial needs and interests are here in Bowie, you can bet they are the same, you know, within the county as a whole.
Well, let me just kind of ask the $64 question then. When the mayor comes down to the county executive's office and starts whining about, hey, can you help me get something through the county council about giving us a little bit more latitude in decision-making positions, or improving what we see as our relationship maybe with the Park and Planning Commission in terms of the relationship between the dollars we spend and the services we get back. How's the county executive going to respond to that whining mayor comes banging in his office complaining about the rest of the county government?
Well, that is it. One whining mayor, but I think the issue again goes back to what's best for the county, and I think it's a matter of, and that's where the consensus building comes in, and that comes in when you have a relationship where you can say, you know, where typically a council may or may not, you know, have that door prepared to open for, you know, a particular mayor from a particular town with regards to a particular issue, but that consensus building from the county executive, you know, may be able to, you know, set that meeting up or set that
So I can take that as a yes?
Did I say yes? Well, actually, I think it's all about working together. Yeah. I mean, you know, and I think it's important.
While I'm on a roll, can I get a stool?
Are you on a roll? Well, look, I tell you what, we have, you know, we are the school resource for the high schools in the county, and we are very much aware of the overcrowdedness in our school system, and we do need to be very diligent about being on top of that situation,